Listen, the reason why you want to travel fast, that's why you are riding at the back of the horse. And the horse is supposed to use its legs to take you to that place. And yet you don't control the legs. You have to put something into its mouth. You want to drive the entire body. But where the steering is, it is on the tongue of the horse. Which means you have to ride at the back of the horse, put something into its mouth, and by controlling the horse's mouth, you are controlling the entire horse. When you pull its tongue towards the right direction, it has to go to the right. The entire body. Not just the tongue. Your entire body, what you say. If what you say is turning right, your entire body and your money and everything about you has to go that way. That's what he's talking about there. Sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down. That's why you see a horse. You see it running from there, facing a wall, a brick wall. It knows that there's no way through. But as long as this man on my back keeps on doing what he is doing, I have to keep on facing this wall. Which means what he wants me to do is to jump. I have to jump. And you find that horse doing some funny things that you might have never seen it doing when there was nobody at the back. As long as there is a person at the back of the horse and the person is able to control that piece of metal, you see the horse's entire body going places. Which means where the mouth of the horse goes is where the entire body of the horse goes as well. It is talking about the ability to control your tongue so that you can gain control over your entire body. So some of you have got very good ideas, but you lack the language. You can't explain what you are carrying. You can't. Why is it that when you apply for a job, after giving them every piece of paper that they want, they would want you to come for an interview? Why are they calling you for an interview? They know that you might be gifted, but do you have the language? Do you have the language? Your tongue, what you say, determines where you are going. We are talking about imaginations here. You now have that imagination in your mind. Now begin to develop a language that supports that imagination. Don't be found contradicting your thoughts. Language. Tell your neighbor language. The language, the language, the language. Man is a very, very, very interesting creature. Man. Very interesting and very dynamic. Unpredictable as well. Man. Man has gained control over most of the things that we see now. It doesn't matter how big they are, men can still control them. It doesn't matter how small they are, men can still control those small things. Men can do that. If a man comes across something that he feels like he's not in control of, he can spend years just working on it. Because there is this hunger in every man to have control over something. By men, I mean both men and women. Right? I'm talking about humans, Homo sapiens. They like control. Why? Because it is a God-given thing. Man, if he sees something moving and there is nobody in control of it, he begins to wonder, how is this thing moving without my involvement? He tries everything to make sure that he is part of that movement. It's a God-given thing. And I was looking at some of the most, or the world's biggest machines that were ever created by humans. If you see them, some of them, you won't even believe that this could be a machine. Taken years to even construct. And on the list of some of those biggest machines ever created, there is a German excavator that they worked on. It has been there for some time. That thing is massive. If you hear of the name excavator, you think of our own excavators here. Not with that one. That one is the size of 2 football grounds. It weighs up to 31 million pounds. From down here up to the top, it's like 30-story building. An excavator. It's an excavator. A German we're not talking about Louis Gong here. We're talking about a German. With 18 buckets. It's an 18-wheel bucket. One bucket, it just rotates like that. They are mining coal. It just rotates like that. 18-wheel. One bucket is just like 20 meters. It takes like about 15,000 pounds of material at a time. It's like eating up the earth. Literally eating up the earth. And yet only 5 men can control that thing. 5. And the same person that controls that same machine, when he breaks at the end of the day, he goes home. He can't control his 70 kg body. I'm talking about how we are trying to control every other thing except the little members that we have on our bodies. Little members of our bodies. Little. Little. Right in front of you. Little. Sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down. Sit down. We are talking, these are These are things that are creeping on the earth. And man is able to move them. One person can get inside there and control the machine. And that has been his desire ever since he was born, to make sure that that thing moves at his command. And yet he is not in control of his body. His body can take him places where he doesn't want. That is what you find on the earth, in the skies. You can go and search this one. It's called the Antonov. The first one that I gave you is the Beggar 293. That's the machine. You go and find out. This one's the Antonov 225. The biggest aircraft. That one, it's more than 600 tons. Takeoff weight. They got the first and the best pilot to control that one. The first time he was in there, you know, when he flew it, the first takeoff, when he came back and he landed, his first words were, "I never thought that this thing could lift off from the ground." He's being interviewed after landing. He's saying, "I didn't know that this thing would fly." And yet this same guy was sitting there pushing this thing to its maximum speed, hoping that it would take off. And yet he was sitting there. No, we're not talking of a helicopter here. We're talking of more than 88 meters wingspan. More than like 32 wheels. 32 wheels. This size. And for the first time, there is a man inside to try the thing. He would rather die trying to control something else except his tongue.